in love with that opening every time. Welcome once again to Cloud.Nine. Nine on ACT and The Voice. I am Sheldon Yearwood. How are you doing today? My. I'm going through the newspaper and there's so many things I want to touch on. So many things happening in our beautiful twin island republic of Trinidad and Tobago that I think it is very important that we kind of go through most of them today. And, you know, as always, I would give my views upon it. You know, I do hope we take it with the love that I'm bringing it with. All right. So again, welcome to the program. Thanks again to the author, Mrs. Karen Elias, for gracing us with her presence yesterday to talk about her book, Restoration. That book is available at Maranatha in both Tunapuna branch and San Fernando. That's at First Church of the Open Bible. And the book, of course, is about recovering from abortion and being made whole. And I mean, what we heard yesterday was just tip of the iceberg of her testimony, her story, her ministry. And you know, she has been a blessing to me personally and my wife and our family. And I wish her all God's blessings with her new book, right? So we're going to go straight into it. Let's go to our Wise Up segment. I want to touch on two stories first, and then we're going to touch on some more that I came across while I was reading today. All right, let's go. All right, so our first two stories today. Yeah. All right, so we have the police officer that was killed. Our condolences go out to his family. It was as a result of a robbery. Special Reserve Police Officer Richard Babwa was killed last evening during an attempted robbery at a Chinese restaurant in Aruca. Babwa, the father of two girls, was killed after he was fired upon by two bandits who stormed the restaurant shortly after 6 p.m. He was last night described as a hero by his colleagues, as they said this does show the extent of his dedication to the job. Babwa, 31, was assigned to Region 2 Homicide, has reportedly just left work at the Aruca police station and was on his way home when he stopped at the Long Yong Chinese restaurant to purchase dinner to take home to his family. Now, let's look at and I use this very cautiously, the irony of the other story. The irony. Let's go to the lovely lady in pink. All right, so we all know this story. I'm being very cautious about it because, again, I need to remind the media of some do's and don'ts when it comes to journalism. The woman depicted in 3 pictures on social media holding a baby in one hand and a gun in the other is a police officer. Now, I'll push pause there for a second, keep the picture up. It has been reported that allegedly, based on statements made by Inspector Michael Seals, of course the head of the police service social welfare division, that this picture was taken it would seem to be before she was a police officer, right? So the argument here now is, do we charge her as a civilian or will she be charged as a police officer? It's more or less leaning towards the side of civilian as in the time it took place. And there are many extenuating factors here that we need to look at. Now, first of all, if we're doing there are 3 points I want to raise with this. Come back to me, guys. 3 quick points I want to raise. Not very, but 3 points. 1, we cannot, looking at 2 quote-unquote, well, again, police officers, right? And this is why, we cannot label an organization based on the actions of a few. That's something that we do quite often when it comes to the police service. We label the police service as this dark horse that is trampling upon the rights of citizens and is trampling upon their good name and trampling upon their children and trampling and trampling. At the end of the day, we cannot just label them as this dark horse, right? Because there are some instances whereby the horses are standing, minding their own business, and we as people find ourselves under the horse and get trampled. Yeah, I went there. Because we have many areas in our society let me rephrase that. As a society, we have become very lawless. And I see it on our nation's roads every day. And I always go back to the statement that was made by Miss Ingerfield, Sharon Ingerfield of Arrive Alive, where she said that it has been proven that many of the cases where you find people have been charged for robbery or even for murder, many times these individuals are on the road driving very recklessly because they're either getting away from a scene or heading to. And I have no doubt about that. There's one particular car I saw recently, and I don't know, maybe he watched too many episodes of Dukes of Hazzard growing up. And maybe he had cokey eye, because I know there's a corner just after the Claxton Bay flyover, and maybe he thought it was straight. So maybe he had cokey eye. I don't know. Because the drive was utterly ridiculous, right? And that is just one of many things that you see. And what's even worse now, because of the regulations, the stymieing of the speed limit on the highway, it has some men now, like, they're trying to make a point. So you might be overtaking on the right lane and you are, exceeding, you're just about 100 thereabout. And you're overtaking within the speed limit, of course. And some men will bump you to the point, you know what, I don't care, move. Right? Now, I would move. But I will move when it's safe to do so. You will not bumper me off the road because you want to go 200 something miles. You find that I should not be there. I am within my rights and I am within the law. So I would shift to them, because as the only go away partner. But I would shift. I see many cars do this. They will get, and it happens to the women in particular, they will panic and they will sometimes just move. And that in itself could cause an accident. So my thing is, to all, in particular ladies, stay calm and shift when it is safe to do so, and let the donkeys bray and go their way after. Because you'll put yourself in more trouble. All right? Now, the other issue I want to bring up with this situation, with the story, is to the media. Put back up the news there for me. So, front page of the Newsday, page 3 of The Guardian. Question number 1. If this is a matter that will eventually go before the courts, why is it the woman's face is being identified? If social media, because there are no regulations where social media is concerned, would actually have such a practice, that's one thing. But as an established media or established media houses, I am baffled as to why the woman's face is being plastered. Now, that is not to say you want to hide her identity, or you're trying to protect the police service, or you're trying to protect her integrity and all of that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, on a technicality, a very good lawyer could get her off. On the technicality that the media houses would have breached, erred in their ways, or in their actions, as a matter of fact. All right? Now, that's one. And that's a major. Now, somebody say, oh, shit. And I've seen cases that people get off like that. And from what I understand, and the two young men who were brandishing the gun in the video, who were brandishing the gun in the video, they actually got off on a technicality, right? They actually got off because the lawyer was stating that it could not determine if the guns were real or not. Technicality. And in some cases as well, they actually highlighted the faces of the two young men. And this is something that we learned very early on in media. Very, very early on in media. And I remember when Senator Mirage came and she had a workshop with us about that. It happens with protests as well. If you're having a protest, particularly a school protest, and there are children in the vicinity. Now, people love to use children to, the sympathy angle or the empathy angle. So they only use children, and that's all well and good. But you still have to blur the faces of these children. You still have to, right? Because they are underage. And these are basic guidelines for journalistic practices that we just do not adhere to in Trinidad and Tobago. We have to understand the voice that we have. Now, I really don't care who don't like what I'm saying after this. I'm just speaking the truth. And if, as I said, if it plants, I've said before, it planting a garden is either you plant it or you dig it up and you throw it away. That's up to you. But it's these simple things that we do just to sell papers and to be all sensationalistic about it. And then we forget some of the core values of this great institution of media that we are a part of. Right? That's one. The other issues, that's two, sorry. The other issues surrounding her age then and whatever and all of that, that's left to be. You leave that alone for now because, again, the matter is now before the court. Right? The third thing I want to touch on is in terms of the child. And I want to say this to all mothers out there. Right? I do not know what was on the mind of this officer or woman, well, civilian at the time. But we have to be very mindful of the technological age that we live in. Very, very mindful. And it just goes to show the deprivation of our society today. And be very careful how we use social media. Now, someone would have taken out this picture. And she's smiling, which means there was someone that she believed that she could have trusted. Now, clearly we're not sure exactly from point A to point Z how this got onto social media. But we have to be a little more mindful of these things when we do it, because they can have devastating repercussions, right? Clearly, we are a very troubled society, as we know, and these are things that we need to pray and work on if we are to see any sort of formidable change, all right? Let's take a very short break. When we come back, we continue right here on Cloud.Nine on ACTN. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Apostle Judy Karim of the Greater Love Christian Center, inviting you to join us every second and last Tuesday of the month on ACTN, The Voice, as we bring to you the Word of God that will challenge you, bless you, and take you into your greatest life ever.
and welcome back to Cloud.Nine on ACT and The Voice. So again, we touched on some critical issues facing our nation today. Again, please be mindful, everyone. Again, we go back to the whole issue of being a troubled society. You have to be very mindful who you trust, what you say, who you talk to. Seek godly wisdom, before making any sort of decision, because it can land you in trouble down the road. Things that we thought was fun, and I've learned that. Things that you believe that was fun back in the day, in years to come, you're going to realize that, it came back to haunt you. And the only way you can get rid of that haunting feeling or to escape those nightmares is through the grace of God. But there are ways we could avoid it. And how you avoid it is when people like myself and others who would have gone through certain things will tell you, listen, don't avoid it at all possible cost. All right? Good. So whatever she would have been through back then, she felt the need to do that. I am hoping that she'll now teach her young one, of course, the child in her hand, you know what? This was a mistake that I made. You don't make these kind of mistakes, all right? And that's how we break the chains. That's how we break generational curses. That's how we give our children a fresh new start, right? They learn from our mistakes. I want to touch on something else quickly here, just as a social, sort of Christmas wish, right? Social need. And this is a story in the Newsday. I just came across it. So you have different mediums of media. You have print, you have television, you have radio, social media. The list is endless these days. So this story caught my attention, and I'm going to read it out. It's very short, and I'm asking everyone who's listening to please support in whatever way you can. I would say one of the safer avenues to take with this story is to contact the Point Fortin Borough Corporation. So the title is very interesting, and I know what they tried to do here, because it's about the Christmas season, Merry Christmas and all that. So the title is Merry Family Homeless for Christmas, because it's the Merry family. That's the actual name of the family. All right. So it's 3 puppies. It died yesterday in a fire, which left homeless at Egypt Village Point Fortin mother and son. All right. They are CPEP worker Judith Mary, 50, and 29-year-old Kent Mary of Egypt Avenue. The puppies were not yet named, as they were born along with 2 others only on Sunday. According to police reports, residents saw flames coming from a 2-bedroom wooden structure at about 10:30 a.m. No one was at home, and within minutes the house was gutted. When firefighters arrived, the house was already burnt. Point Fortin Mayor Abdon Mason visited yesterday and said the Borough Corporation is trying its best to bring relief in a time of scarce resources. Unfortunately, we do not have any mattresses. That is unfortunate. All right. Because of the flooding earlier in the year, we gave them out. Only recently, the family took out furniture and stuff on hire purchase. Kent has a 2-month-old baby who lives elsewhere, and he recently purchased items for the baby. End quote. Mason said that the corporation is liaising with the office of the MP to determine what type of relief they can assist with. We are hoping we can get them one of those structures at Lakeview from the HDC. I do not know if this is something they will consider, but they do not have anywhere to go. They lost every single thing except for the mother dog and 2 puppies up to yesterday. The cause of the fire was not yet determined. Test your heart this Christmas. Test our heart this Christmas, right? And this is a really good test for us. Really good test for us. I was just thinking about it this morning. On my final leg of theology studies, and we worry about the tests in school, and we worry about end of term tests, and we worry about all these tests we do while we're in the school phase of life. And the real test comes when we have to go out there and practice what we learned in school, or practice what we learned in terms of any sort of level of education. And this is where the tests come. And this is where the test of the heart comes in. And this season in particular, let's see if we can all do our part. I plan to make contact with the mayor. I'm now seeing the story on my own and see what we can do, whatever little that can be done. I know the Point Fortin Open Bible Church, I know they are very closely knit to the Point Fortin community. So I'm sure that they would assist in whatever way they can. And I'm calling on all individuals within the Point Fortin, LeBray, that whole catchment area to assist in whatever way they can to help this family truly be reflective, rather, or the season be reflective of their name, which is Mary. And that is what we really want them to have, a Merry Christmas, despite the billows of smoke that is not only suffocating, that is feeling as if it's suffocating them physically, but of course emotionally as well, because it's not easy going through something like this. We thank God that their lives were spared. The animals were not as fortunate, but we thank God that both the mother and son, their lives were spared. So again, as I was saying, contact the Point Fortin Borough Corporation for any more information you'd like on the story and any way you'd like to assist the family get back up on their feet. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to jump straight into our Let's Chat segment for today.
This is Apostle Judy Karim of the Greater Love Christian Center, inviting you to join us every second and last Tuesday of the month on ACTN The Voice, as we bring to you the Word of God that will challenge you, bless you, and take you into your greatest life ever. All right, welcome back to Cloud.Nine on ACTN The Voice. Let's go straight to our Let's Chat segment for today. All right, and welcome back. So recently we highlighted a story with the mayor of San Fernando about the plans for the Christmas season. We're going to show you part of that again for those who have not seen it and give you a slight update on what's been happening in the city, some of the concerns that I've been hearing on the ground by many individuals in that after that story was aired. And then I'm going to touch on some of the reports I've been getting, like in certain places of East Trinidad, where generally it seems to be a very slow Christmas season in terms of shopping and so forth. And then later on, there's a story of a drunk driver who admits to crashing into someone's home. Yeah, I'll touch on that to close the show. All right,
let's go to the mayor's interview about what's happening in San Fernando. If you're not sure you want to know, well, now you need to listen. Hi, pleasant good afternoon, Mayor. A pleasant good day to you and season's greetings. All is well?
See you too, my friend.
How's your Christmas shaping up, sir?
We know looking at it. We just finished the city celebration at last weekend, so we know looking at it the next month, and which is December coming, and what comes with it.
All right, let's take it a few months back, and then we're going to come all the way to the Christmas season. Briefly, we had a very interesting tour a few months ago, as we analyzed the traffic plan prior to the opening of school, and then we met again and we took a look at it after. So we're now more or less almost at the end of another term in terms of school term, and we'll have given you a very good view of how the traffic plan will have worked out in terms of checks and balances and so forth. Are you pleased with the last few months?
Absolutely, and we're getting very positive feedback from the public and other stakeholders into what we wish to do, what we wish to achieve. And it's not cast in the concrete, it's not finished. And we continue to tweak it as we go along to get close to perfect.
I realized that during the last month or so you made some adjustments again to, I think it's to this...
but I'm Pennington Street, which used to be a one-way, is now two-way, and also Manchagan Street is also two-way. So in other words, now you get to High Street and you look up and there's traffic, you have options to get out of San Fernando.
Right.
Once you drive smart, it's workable.
And what about the vendors? Have they adjusted? That was the issue that I know we also had as well.
It's an ongoing problem. We are meeting with them to address the problem and see how we could find solutions to those issues. Some of them have been there for over 30 years, and that's how they meet their livelihood. And we want to help, but at the end of the day, it is still illegal. And we can only do so much.
And since then, have you earmarked any particular location?
Well, they have a proposal which I'm waiting to see in a little while. They're making some adjustment. They want to vend for 4 to 5 days out of the week. And they want to use on the street instead of next to the drain as opposed to on the pavement.
That's where? Which is exactly?
On the left-hand side and going up High Street.
Up High Street, okay.
Yes.
All right.
So that is being considered in light of the season and their contribution over the years, but it will be a one-off arrangement. Also, we're looking at a one-day pedestrian mall, which is Sunday the 17th of December. We're speaking to other stakeholders to see how feasible it is and how workable it is, and we're looking at that. From 9 in the morning until 5 in the evening.
That's for the Christmas season.
Yes, so what you're going to put, we're going to tent High Street, the center of High Street, and put the vendors there so they will not be on the pavement and not be blocking the free passageway.
So, in terms of the traffic plan for the Christmas season, will there be any adjustments, or are you going to leave it as is?
It is.
But I know it's going to, the traffic is not going to just carve, but then there's people.
What we have to focus on now is the no parking area. For instance, on Pontiac Road, alongside Pennywise, they're going head to Library Corner, heading south to Library Corner. Vehicles still parking there, which is opposite the Marble taxi stand. So I need to indicate that there's a no parking zone. And another parts, little small areas where cars park, arbitrarily and that kind of thing. So I'm working on those there, but I'm not seeing any major change between now and Christmas.
I know there are some back streets in San Fernando where there's also there's no parking allowed. Would there be some sort of grace or provision given for individuals to park there?
We would be trying to help. For instance, on the weekend, in the month of December, you can park on Harris Promenade. There'll be some leniency, but they reckon once it doesn't impede the traffic or present any congestion or prevent people going into the driveway, that sort of thing, we'll be working on that. So there'll be some leeway for them.
Some leniency, you know, concerned. All right. How soon do you plan to meet with the vendors?
Today.
Today?
Yeah, today.
Okay.
Yeah. They're here as we speak to discuss these proposals.
All right, great. Let's go now again to City Week, as you mentioned in the beginning of our interview. How was it? I know, of course, the big highlight of City Week this week was the concert featuring Chronics, but what else?
It was a well thought out in light of the financial challenges that we have, as opposed to funding events and projects. We decided a list of inviting people who can do events for us. And so we just had 2 or 3 events, which was the Civic Awards, a function, a reception, and that is where we give out awards to outstanding San Fernandans. I'm going to call 2 right now. One was Karamat Roti Shop, because Karamat have been around for so long and have fed so many people, over the years, and with an affordable meal. So we decided to recognize Karamat as well as Santa, who started started on High Street,
very well.
selling and peddling, and he now owned a property on Pontiac Road, private property. So those two were highlighted and awarded for the Witching Hour civic reception. And Beatrice Ramutasing, who did a lot of social work behind the scenes and make her contribution. She was also highlighted. There's a young man from Presentation College that was outstanding, top the Caribbean with Keep. He was also awarded. And there's a 9-year-old boy from TML, who is a junior chess champion out in the world there right now. So he's also recognized for his contribution.
Nice.
A very broad-based, awarding of awards going out to citizens across the board who have made significant contribution and have been outstanding.
I congratulate you, of course, for such research. I want to call it that. Clearly, from what you're saying here, it wasn't an ad hoc approach in selecting the individuals who were awarded.
And then there was
one. That is very important.
Lucy Regis, who's an old stalwart in San Fernando in the arts, doing her thing over the years, and she's also going to. It's a nice cross-section of people who have contributed to the development of the city of San Fernando. Anthony Limac from Presentation College. He died last year, I think it was. A musicologist, music teacher, provided music at the Catholic Church, provided music at Presentation College over the years, taught music in Presentation College. He's also given an award. So it's a very well thought out bunch of persons who were awarded this year.
What is the vision that you have for San Fernando? I'm listening to you, and ever since we've been doing these interviews, and that passion is there. You are Southern bred.
I think San Fernando could be a model city for the rest of the nation. The fact that the incident was, the concert was incident-free, speaks volumes of us as a people, our discipline. That integrated kind of community that San Fernando is, what makes us special. And makes us unique. So we can really be a model. We don't have some of the challenges that they have in other parts of Trinidad and Tobago. We don't have that in San Fernando. And I will advocate and continue to promote that. For the police, when I did my police report on Saturday morning, I said, Senior Soup, how did it go? He said, incident-free, not a break-in. Not a car was stolen around San Fernando. And when you consider the amount of people that were there, we're talking about almost 20,000 people what's going to park on Friday night. Wow. That's unbelievable. And I think that it speaks a volume for us, and I'm proud in this regard.
What's the misconception you think people still have of San Fernando?
There may not be a misconception, maybe a lack of understanding, but we have contributed so much to the landscape of the development of Trinidad and Tobago, San Fernando. A lot of, television as stand right now, Horace James came from San Fernando. And he's the one who shaped television in this country in the 60s and the early 70s with the programming. You have people like Trevor McDonald, who's at ITV in London and was at BBC for a long while, is a San Fernandian. And there's so many other people who came through the system who have contributed. Stoke St. Hill and the arts. I can call so many names that I've had the opportunity to work with and work alongside outside there. Even when you go into the arts, you have Samuel Selvon. There's so many people who came through San Fernando and contributed. And have contributed to the development of Trinidad and Tobago who are San Fernandians, I may say.
San Fernandians. I just want to go back once again. Again, congratulations on City Week, and I know there's a whole lot more in store.
Somebody said to me yesterday, how are you going to beat this one? I mean,
we gave our suggestions. Yeah. We wouldn't say no.
Yeah,
we gave our suggestions.
We are thinking, and you see, in terms of the challenges we have financially, we couldn't do a lot of things that we wanted to do.
Yeah, but once you're resourceful,
right? So we say, listen, we just farm it out, do this for us, do that for us. But it comes back to San Fernando, because here you have a top international actor who's on a world tour. Actually, just came back from North America and Asia
and he came to San Fernando.
And came to San Fernando as opposed to elsewhere. It's a first for us, and that's what we are doing. Normally they'll come to Trinidad before we may get a one-off in San Fernando, if we're lucky. When Bob Marley came to Trinidad in 1974, he performed in Port of Spain at PSA, then come to San Fernando. And they give you something. I think Michael Jackson came. We had a small concert in the evening. It was early in the evening because of his time schedule. But this guy came to San Fernando, and he came on Tuesday. He came in on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. He left Port of Spain to come to San Fernando, visit the mayor's office, sign my guest book, my list here as a guest. So he was my guest for the city of San Fernando. Went to our schools in San Fernando, met with our people, interacted with us, and hung out with us for a while. And that says, and then this represent for San Fernando. It's all about San Fernando.
And the thing is, again, once you know your heart is in the right place and you're planting, your seed on good soil, it will be a good fruit for you and for the city and for the people of San Fernando. And that's what, we've been seeing. And we're looking, and this is from me looking on from our first tour straight up to now. The whole atmosphere of the city seems to be changing. There's a lot more peace they're realizing, and that's critical. And that comes from the header.
And on Saturday evening we had the eat and drink jazz on the hill Saturday evening, and we had a great jazz concert in Answer Valley. And Answer Valley promoted on Saturday evening, and we have to look at that. And then I'm now talking to the Minister of Tourism for us to have these events scheduled. So these
as part of the national calendar?
National calendar.
Okay.
So you look forward to these events. And we start targeting, we're talking about our city celebration for smack into Thanksgiving. So we could tie Thanksgiving into our celebration. Let's target our diaspora. You come home for Thanksgiving. Let's give thanks and celebrate for the good God have been given to us, all the goodness, all the goodies, all the good things that we have benefited from. And let's look at bringing the diaspora home for Thanksgiving and for city celebration. Well, the concept has changed considerably in terms of, as I said before, in terms of finance. But you have to think about, yes, those events that I was involved in, I was part of that in 2003, 2004. I was part of that. I was the person in charge of it. But you have to look at, there are two sides. One is that you'd have been pleasing a percentage of young people, basically, and those who are into carnival and those type of activities. But think about disruption that it would have caused. The Juve at the time, if I recall, would have passed, it was on Sunday morning. They had issued for the bands passed close to a couple of churches, and that had some problems. I remember that. We also had the activity with traffic congestion in San Fernando. We had a military parade on the Saturday where the military came up, they were in the car park, went up High Street, went up McCrabb, that caused congestion all over San Fernando. It affected businesses.
So these changes that you made, it was a result of some of the concerns raised?
It would have been consideration, but also I think major, we did not have the finance because although when you had Juve and those things, you have to finance it. You have to provide funding for it. And it's difficult now because people are losing their jobs, people are being sent home, and you're putting money into these type of events and activities. It doesn't look good
so
for us.
it goes back to being resourceful and what you can.
If we could have pulled it off as we did this year, outsourcing the events, then it means that we put no pressure on ourselves and our business because Carnival is coming up just now and Christmas is coming and we have to put these same business to help and assist us in financing the Carnival competition. So we left that out of it for now and dealt with it where we saw it. For instance, we had the spoken word activity and I have it on my Facebook page. I was excited by the material that I saw coming out of his spoken word, the kind of ideas, the kind of expression that came from these great creative young persons. So rather than focus on the carnival aspect of it, or the party aspect of it, we looked at a foundation, building and creating something where people can express themselves and how we shape or reshape Trinidad and Tobago. And what I was able to, if you look at the material that I heard coming from those people, it was already amazing. So we took a different angle this year with the celebration in terms of our time constraint and our financial constraint, and we got it to work.
And I think that's important too, because at the end of the day, when it comes to creativity, there are no boundaries, and it's about providing, I guess, different platforms where people can showcase their various talents and giftings, and so they will see us more than just in one
point I asked earlier on. What are we focusing on? If you have parties and carnival type events, we'll say it was successful. This year we focus on education, we focus on the arts, we focus on creativity.
What people have been asking for.
Creativity, and we focus on an international act that is saying positive things. So that's what we focus on this year, and it has been successful.
And we need more of that being inculcated right now into our society because of the direction some young people are going where. And it takes away from the mindset about how people view sometimes, Trinbagonians, quote unquote, that we have a one-track mind when it comes to just having a good time.
And we launched Carnival, but what we did, as opposed to launching Carnival on the streets, Carnival was launched at a restaurant. and Rising Star Restaurant and Bar.
Okay.
Now, the benefit of that is that they provided all the needs that you required. Tents, sound system, lighting, live band, stage.
So again, takes the pressure again off of these with other stuff to be done. Right.
Off the state. Normally we'll have that event on Coffee Street, and then we have to pay for this and pay for that.
Right,
so many things. And then there's traffic congestion as well. So we move it into an enclosed environment where everything is provided, including the food and drinks.
But what that also does as well, it also helps the businesses.
Absolutely.
Because they too benefit from promoting these events. Yeah. So it is a win-win without any pressure on the state, as mentioned.
So I'm saying maybe, and also sometimes you have to take the mountain to Muhammad. Because if it's that is where people are,
right,
and people who are playing, and those people who are playing masquerade, by the way. There's any masqueraders inside of there. So they can decide which band they're going to play with. And I'm also saying maybe next year we can go to the malls. Go to the malls on a Friday evening and launch Carnival, launch your bands.
And you have more, you have South Park now, you have C3,
and
you have of course and golf as well.
So we can look at it now and observe what's happening there and say, these are potential options that you have. And look at it, because what you're doing, what you have done in the past, you have a launch of Carnival on the promenade, on Coffee Street. But what you're doing, you're almost speaking to yourself.
Right.
It makes no sense. And that's where your people are congregating, and you take it to them. This is what we have to do. And you collaborate with the malls, you provide whatever we need, we bring the bands, should give the bands an opportunity to promote and highlight their carnival presentation and talk about it. So those are new ways, innovative ways in getting it outside. That's what we have done this year. Or you'll also have the detractors who may say, well, why do it that way? And why not doing the other way? But we cannot continue the way we have been going.
And the thing is, if we know that change is constant, then therefore we'll also know that because change is constant, we can't do the same thing. It's like doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And
Absolutely.
People, if you want a different result and you want growth, then therefore we too have to grow as a people. So I understand where you come from with that. And as we wrap things up, and in wishing, of course, not just the people of San Fernando and environs, and even the wider country, what advice do you have for citizens right now in terms of shopping and safety and all of that? For this Christmas season as the mayor of San Fernando?
Well, let's begin by saying let's drive smart and drive safe, because you have this road rage going on, and that type of courtesy that you expect from fellow drivers. I want to see a little more of that, a little more consideration. And I'll give you an example. I was parked yesterday, I'm looking at something, and there are lines, demarcation for parking. And a gentleman pulled in and smack between two lots. So he occupied almost two lots without a care. Came out and left. And then I said, so what you're going to do? You are taking up two parking lots. You know what I mean? And what about the next person? That type of consideration should be given. Take a little time off, relax a bit, and observe and follow the rules and those sort of things. And maybe, as I said before, the potential is there. San Fernando is, and we continue to be a model community, a model city. But we need to adhere to some of the rules and guidance that is outside there, guidelines that are outside there for us to follow. We need a little more courtesy out there. Safety will always be an area that we have to focus on. I must commend our police in San Fernando, the senior superintendent and his team. They're doing a fantastic job, and I'm like that. One call, we speak to them, and things are done, and I'm very happy about that. And this is why we are where we are in terms of crime and that sort of thing. We are working on some of the problems that we have. I mean, employment will continue to be a challenge. People have to find new ways in which to create revenue for themselves. But the opportunities are there. I think driving a PH car is not the best way out. But sometimes when you go and get stuff must get going, and you look for ways in which you can survive and succeed. But I'm happy and excited by the potential and what I'm seeing in San Fernando. And I think with the coming of the waterfront project at the ending of this year, early next year.
Right, that's coming along nicely.
That's going to create a lot of opportunities for San Fernando. C3, the development of South Park. A hotel is going to start there in March of next year. The hotel will start eventually. So there are opportunities for employment. The highway continues, and the waterfront development, which we have been waiting for years, is now going to start. It's going to happen. So San Fernando is exciting times for us.
All right. So Mayor, as always, I'm sure we'll meet again before the end of the year, but nevertheless, season's greetings to you and your staff, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks to you, my friend.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks.
All right, once again, congratulations to the mayor and all that's being done in San Fernando, and of course to make things ready for you for this Christmas season. Now, after that interview, we actually went as a team doing our face-to-face interviews in Princestown. I really loved my time there. Again, thanks to everyone in Princestown for welcoming us when we came down that day. And at that time, they said things were very slow, and they're hoping that things would have picked up by now. Truth is, that has not been the case. As a matter of fact, I recently got a report from the Tunapuna area. There are a couple of stores. If you know Tunapuna well, there is a little cluster of stores between the market and Rattan. Yes, all right. Don't bash Rattan. Rattan's are real good stuff. Trust me. Go and buy some real nice jersey. Anyhow, so between Rattan and the market, and a couple of the stores as well, you know, Charon's is there. This little area there. And that's normally the real busy area, the clutter area around this time. And someone who's from the area was telling me that by now it would be very busy. So someone said, no, maybe next week. She said, I hear what you're saying, but trust me, by now it's crazy. And the store owners are saying it's just not picking up. Likewise in San Fernando, we're hearing the same cry from business owners. It's not picking up, and this issue with these street vendors is still more or less ongoing, even though the mayor actually met with them that same day. We had the interview, as a matter of fact. He met with them mere minutes after they were waiting on us to leave, and he met with them. So that's an ongoing issue in the San Fernando area of the street vendors. I believe there's some moves to relocate them again next week. Moving forward to make, you know, to have some sort of cohesiveness between them and the business owners, right? I'm hoping to speak with the mayor of Port of Spain soon, as all things are looking in the north of the country. And I'll give you that report as soon as possible. So again, we continue to pray for the release. We continue to pray for the finance for those who are, you know, inclined to go and shop and so forth. I know it could be challenging, but again, do not allow the season. Remember, amidst everything, the reason for the season, and despite whatever, you're going to find that joy to enjoy it. Remember, the joy of the Lord is your strength. So find that strength, and things will happen. You will be blessed, I guarantee you. Do not give in, do not give up. When you are faint, just as a quick point before we go to the break, when you're feeling faint, and I was saying this yesterday in class, when you're feeling faint and you're feeling as if you're on E, and you're feeling as though everything is being taken from you, sometimes God allows that to happen. He allows everything to be taken. He doesn't send what you think you need, and you're on E. And the reason is very simple. He leaves you on E for a while to see if you'll allow him to fill you up. It's real simple. Allow him to fill you up, and you'll never run out of gas. Amen? Amen. Let's take a break.
Hi, I'm Reverend Valerie Ramkalawan from the Christ Approved Revival Tabernacle. You can tune on every first and last Wednesday of the month on ACT and The Voice. And I'm there 10:30 p.m. 15 minutes, you can tune on and you can be filled with the word of the Lord. Come on and be a part of this station in Jesus' name. God bless you.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 and 9.
Welcome to the new season of Football 101. I am your host, Joshua Matos.
Well, it's time for your weekly football news update. I love you, Messi.
Fortunately, kiss the badge, Oh, what's that?
Welcome to this edition of The Interview, and as you can see, I'm not alone on the set. I have Marcus, a Liverpool fan, and I have Shakir.
All right, and welcome back to Cloud.Nine on ACT and The Voice. So wonderful being with you again today, and I'm really glad we were able to touch on so many issues. But I'm going to close with this one. It's very personal as to me, to me as everyone will know by now. And I'm just going to skim it through. Drunk driver admits to crashing into home. Nigel Jacob, the driver who crashed into the living room of a Derby house on Saturday, not only admitted to being drunk, but also had no driver's permit or insurance. Jacob, 42, a security officer, was remanded in custody after he pleaded guilty to 4 of the 5 charges when he appeared in the San Fernando traffic court. He admitted to drinking beers and punching. Not good combination at all. Right. Jacob pleaded guilty to driving without a policy of insurance, permit, etc. Moving on, lower down. Representing himself, Jacob told Magistrate Lisa Singh Philip, "I just apologizing is a chance I was taking." He was aware that he endangered his life and the lives of other people. After the crash, this is interesting, Jacob said he did not enter the resident's home. Hear it? He did not enter the resident's home. But the magistrate said, you were already in the house, the car already inside the people's house. He has no wife or no children. And when asked by the magistrate what he was going to do about the damage to the people's house and items, he said, "I don't know if it was damaged before." Were you still high? Were you still high? Because when you are intoxicated, and take it from somebody who's been there, your thought patterns are shattered. So, at the end of the day, you are in no position at that time to say that you were coherent enough to know if at the end, and this is where these things happen for God to wake us up. Because let's just say, for the sake of some argument, that you are correct in your statement, which highly likely, because of the position that you're in at the time and what happened, then therefore you have to take responsibility for whatever happens after. And I'm saying that to say this Christmas season, before we close off the show, please be mindful. Now, again, I don't drink at all, but I used to. And I'm telling people, at the end of the day, there are many times that I could have been dead. Know what you're doing when it comes to alcohol. Understand the fire that you're playing with. And if you don't want to get burned, leave the devil poison alone. Leave it alone. It's like a comedian made that statement from the States, and he was saying, when he told his friends that he had stopped drinking, and for his reason, it was strictly physical. They were like in shock. Like one man, he almost went to that asthma attack. Couldn't believe it. It's had a breech shot. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Forgive me for I don't want to drink poison anymore." And that's the reality of what it is. Yeah, people might like, well, it doesn't matter. It's the truth. So, my brother, I am grateful that you admitted to your wrong, but where the items are concerned, I'm sure if you look at the aftermath of, I'm sure there were pictures taken, and if the car went through the wall and bongs the space saver, chances are you did destroy it. Okay? I'll keep you in prayer. That brings us to the end of our show today. Be careful on the nation's road, please. What you're driving, the drinking. People, they say don't drink and drive, don't drink at all. It's my position. Don't drink at all. You have a family, friends, and so forth to be around. Right? Do not stretch God's grace. It can bust if you're not careful. Love ya.